We have a submission here from RC Slater. I'm going to take a look at your log and your flight video. And I will say overall, your copter looks like it's flying really great. One thing I do see is that there's just a little bit of oscillation after your rolls. And I'll see if I can find us a good example of that. So here I have lined up a roll, and let's watch it. And there it was. We definitely see some oscillation there at the end. Let's just take another look. Let's see what's going on here. We can see that during the roll, the P term is oscillating pretty hard and pretty much throughout the roll. I've said other times that what I would like to see during a roll is a strong push in the same direction as the roll, either above or below the axis. P term goes positive, gyro goes positive, a push out, and then more or less close to the zero line. Now I've showed some examples that I said looked good to me where there were maybe one or two hops. But in a case like this, it's clear that we have strong and continuous P-term oscillation during the roll. That's only going to be a problem if at the end of the roll we get a bounce, and in fact we do, and we can see it here. It's even happening before the stick returns to zero. We've got this good strong gyro bounce here, and then it continues afterwards. And again, your P term is trying to manage it. And it continues even quite some ways to, into the rest of the next maneuver. So you suggested in your post that you thought you had extra D-term wiggles, but I don't see anything in your flight video that looks to me like D-term noise. Excess D-term results in it looking like there's too much noise coming out of your gyro, which would cause sort of random twitches and wiggles. And maybe if you were to point to a timestamp in the video, I would see that and go, oh yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Because I think a lot of times that stuff is really subtle. I almost never notice it when I'm flying. I almost always notice it afterwards when I'm looking at the high def video. And even then, sometimes I don't notice it until I've watched the video two or three times and I'm starting to sort of get bored with it. And then, oh, then I see it. So maybe it's there. I do agree that your D term, if we look at your D term the rest of the time, it seems pretty proportional with your P term. Granted, it's not doing very much. Um, Yeah, looks pretty proportional. So, I mean, I feel like your magnitude of your D term and your P term is about right. Oh, here's another one. Yeah, look at this crazy, crazy activity here. Just going crazy. Let's watch it. So, oh, we got oscillations leading up to it as well. Let's see if we can see those. Do we see them in the gyro? No. See, so here's what I'm talking about. We've got oscillations in the P term here, but in general, the gyro trace is smooth. I'm not too worried about that. Let's watch it. So if you can't see it, I don't care. I mean, maybe if it's so bad that it's making your motors come down hot, then I'd care. But in general, if the camera looks smooth, I don't care what the line on the graph says. I think you can even hear this oscillation. I'm going to turn my volume all the way up. I think you can even hear this oscillation during the roll. Hang on, let's listen. Yeah, you totally can. So if you couldn't hear it on my playback, I'll try one more time. You totally can. So if you can't hear it on my playback, play back the original video and see if you can hear it. You can totally hear the motors oscillating during the roll, and that's not great. That's not ideal. So it suggests to me that your roll P term is too high, and I would suggest lowering it. Now we're going to look at a flip and see how that looks. So this is really interesting to me because if you look at the trace again, we have constant P-term oscillation during the flip. So same advice holds. And I can hear the motors doing that oscillation thing. I'll turn it up and I'll see if it'll play through. So I don't even know if you can really hear it, but even during the flip, you can kind of hear the motors oscillating. But I gotta say, even though I can hear it, and I can see in the gyro trace that there's this tiny bit of oscillation here at the end of the move. I actually really can't even see it in the video. I don't know if that's just me. And it looks like we're going to do a front flip. Let's watch that. Oh, I think I turned my volume all the way down. Didn't mean to do that. Let's watch it again. So your front and your back flips look completely locked in, smooth, rock solid. I wish mine looked that good. They don't. I got a little bounce at the end that I can't get rid of. I blame it on the fact that I'm running on 3S. That's what I'm going to say until I get to 4S, and then if I don't fix it, I'll have to make up another excuse. But honestly, that one doesn't look too bad. See, we got a little bit of bouncing in here, but it's not like constant repetitive bouncing. This makes me think that your P term is also too high on pitch, and I would want to lower it if this were my copter. But if I lowered it and I didn't like the way it flew, I would probably put it back. I just have, if I'm seeing this during the flips and rolls, then it makes me think there are probably other times during flight where it's also oscillating, like maybe high throttle punch outs or hard sort of skidding turns, or I don't know, that I maybe am not as cognizant of, or that aren't kind of happening as often, but that when they do happen, they annoy me. So I would want to turn P down on pitch and roll. But if you like the way it flies and you don't mind that tiny bit of bounce at the end of the roll, maybe it's fine. You could also try raising D term on roll. So you might find that that works for you if you have enough filtering and enough noise rejection. Um, then you may find that you can turn the D term enough that it gets rid of that bounce on the roll, even with the P term where it is. Speaking of filtering and noise rejection, I do want to say one more thing, and that is I looked at your gyro traces, and your gyro traces are slightly on the noisy side. And I don't know what your filtering is at right now. Did you post your log? I don't think you did. Yeah, no. Or your config dump. But it's slightly on the noisy side. And so if you do start cranking up your D gain to try to get on roll to try to get rid of that bounce, if you find that it adds some noise, you may want to have some more gyro filtering. So that would be lowering gyro cut hertz to a lower number. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Nice flying quad. It looks very nice. Good looking video. Bye bye. Happy flying.